Hello and welcome to Round 4 Flicks. Top Hollywood movies from 2023 have already started playing in theaters, and some of them are now available to stream on well-known platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, HBOMAX, and others. So, today we'll discuss some of the top recently released Hollywood action, adventure, fantasy, and horror movies available on the aforementioned streaming services. Also, let us know how many of these new movies you've seen and which one is your favorite in the comments. Let's now begin the video. Number 10. On a Wing and a Prayer. Sean McNamara is the director of this 2023 survival drama movie. The story revolves around Doug White and his family who board a charter plane to return home. But their journey quickly turns into a nightmare when the pilot passes away unexpectedly and aviation officials then teach Doug how to fly and safely land an aircraft. The remaining tales are told as Doug fights and exerts every effort to successfully land the aircraft, save every member of his family, and safeguard everyone else on board. The movie is believed to be based on a remarkable true story in which a man protects his family from unthinkable harm. If you're searching for a movie to pass the time and enjoy, this might be it. However, the movie ultimately fails to capture the intensity and seriousness of the actual event, and instead becomes a typical survival drama with a passable plot and a few exciting parts. Number 9. SIMULANT. It is a sci-fi thriller movie from 2023 that April Mullen is directing. The movie is set in the near future and centers on Evan, a robotic creature created for Faye to replace her departed lover. However, as Evan sets out to fully realize all of his genuine human powers, things swiftly go wrong and become dangerous. Evans hires Casey, a gifted international programmer whose mission is to remove all constraints on Android's mental capabilities and powers. It sounds more like a Terminator story, but in the process, he sparks an AI rebellion that leads to a government investigation led by Officer Kessler, who is prepared to take drastic measures to stop the development of artificial machines. Despite the fact that the movie is stylish, appealing, and has a strong sci-fi concept, it has its own interesting and distinctive side storylines that may interest the general audience but not sci-fi fans. Number 8. The Pope's Exorcist. Julius Avery is the director of this 2023 supernatural horror movie. The narrative is based on Father Gabriele Amor's records, a holy priest who served as the senior exorcist and performed over 100,000 demon-banishing rituals over the course of his life. The story follows the top priest in the Vatican, Gabriele Amor, as he examines a person's possessions and learns about a sinister plot that the city has been keeping secret for years and that could endanger all of humanity. With a fantastic twist on the cliched evil versus priest plot, the historical horror component heightens the suspense and the chills. Russell Crowe's character is the movie's main draw, but the scares are well executed and won't disappoint viewers. Number 7. RENFIELD. Chris McKay is the director of this 2023 comedy horror movie. The horror tale of Renfield, Dracula's tortured aide and devoted servant who served his egotistical master throughout history, is told in the film. Renfield is compelled to identify his boss's victim and carry out his orders, no matter how heinous. After a century of service, Renfield decides that he is tired of serving Dracula and wants to leave in order to establish its own identity. However, things do not go as planned because Renfield will be punished if he leaves Dracula because the vampire once promised him eternity only if he helped him fulfill his desires. The plot will look at how Renfield and Dracula become reliant on one another as a result of the arrangement. All of these difficulties are treated in a fun manner in the story, as Renfield looks for a way to end his need on Dracula once and for all. I'll let you find out if he succeeds or not because it will determine how the narrative ends. The movie presents a distinctive monster comedy that gives worn-out vampire clichés a fresh twist while giving horror movie fans an adventure worth witnessing. Number 6. A.K. Morgan S. Dowley-Burt is the director of this action thriller movie. The story centers on a soldier named Adam Franco who infiltrates an underground gang and unintentionally befriends the boss's youngest child. Adam Franco is given the task of working undercover for a criminal organization and is required to get close to the cartel's leader Victor. However, due to unanticipated circumstances, Adam ultimately finds himself assigned to a mission where he must defend Joe, Victor's son. As Adam grows closer to Victor, he learns about the various threats the cartel faces, necessitating the use of his exceptional combat skills while avoiding being discovered. As much as we have seen movies with similar plots, this one stands out because it features action, action, and only action, which is always enjoyable no matter how many times you see it. Number 5. A Good Person. Zach Braff is the director of this 2023 drama movie. Plot centers are currently Allison is a young woman who has a wonderful fiancé, a successful career, and a supportive circle of family members. However, after surviving an unfathomable catastrophe, Allison's entire existence quickly comes crashing down as she battles a drug addiction and unbearable grief. Later, Allison, who is grieving and seeking redemption, is assisted by her father-in-law in finding companionship, acceptance, and a chance for conflict in order to put herself together. The movie's plot is a little disjointed, and its pace is a little slow, but overall it offers some heartwarming and humorous moments. This movie, which is about redemption, is unexpectedly funny while yet being really painful. If you like this type of movie, add it to your watch list. Number 4. Evil Dead Rise. Lee Cronin is the director of this 2023 supernatural horror movie. You've undoubtedly seen some of the previous Evil Dead movies if you like horror movies. But it's okay if you haven't, because this movie's plot has nothing to do with the one from before, so you can watch it first. However, this picture unquestionably includes the traditional characteristics that the previous several entries in the Evil Dead film series lacked. It is the 5th installment in the Evil Dead series. The story centers on two distant sisters, Beth and Ellie. Beth visits her older sister Ellie, who is caring for her 3 children alone in a dark apartment, but their reunion is cut short by the appearance of deadly spirits, forcing them to fight for their lives. Finally, after such a long wait, the audience was able to watch the best Evil Dead movie. This movie stands out in terms of terror, violence, and suspense. If you are a fan of this genre, I highly recommend it. Number 3. Discontinued. Trevor Peckham is the director of this sci-fi mystery movie. The story centers on Sarah, a young woman who is under a lot of stress and has a pessimistic outlook on humanity's future. However, after discovering that reality is actually just a complex digital simulation that will end in a few days, she notices when insanity begins to spread, and enlists the help of an artificial intelligence advisor to help her face the impending end of the universe as she knows it, while also tracking an unthinkable threat. The most notable features of the movie are its unique and intriguing notion, which is expertly portrayed in a way that makes it an intelligent and interesting sci-fi movie. Although the concept of the film is fantastic, it is not for everyone because it is not your standard science fiction movie about planets, aliens, or spaceships. However, the photography, emotion, and humor further elevate the film. The film's pace and uninteresting secondary characters are its flaws, but its science fiction narrative attracts you, so if you like that type of stuff, you'll like it. Number 2. Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly are the detectives of this 2023 fantasy heist comedy. The story revolves around a major burglary that an eccentric gang of heroes and a criminal named Edgen pull out in order to recover a stolen item. However, the interesting point is that even when everything goes as planned here, 2 things go wrong when they encounter the bad people and discover that one of their own members joined them for her own sinister secret objectives. I won't say much more because it will reveal the primary plot mystery, but the main suspense is around that relic, and what it is, what it can do, and why other people are needed. The movie gives an epic fantasy adventure complete with creatures' palaces. It's the closest thing to a perfect fantasy film I've seen in recent years, and it's not just the greatest, it's unquestionably among the must-see films of 2023. Number 1. The Covenant. Guy Ritchie is the director of this 2023 action thriller movie. The story of the movie is about a former army commander named John Kinley, who returns to save a translator by the name of Ahmed, after Ahmed saved his life from a terrorist organization. The clandestine operation in which Ahmed takes extraordinary measures to save Kinley's life starts the whole thing off. But when Kinley learns that Ahmed wasn't provided with secure transportation as promised, he must make good on what he owed by returning to the combat zone to locate him before the organization does. If you are a true action movie fan, you probably already know about Guy Ritchie. For those of you who are not familiar with his work, let me just say that he makes excellent action movies. His most well-known films include Wrath of Man, The Gentleman, and many others. In addition to action-packed scenes that keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time, the movie also features excellent writing with the right amount of emotion. Despite being somewhat predictable, the The film has more positive aspects that make it enjoyable. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel to view future videos about suggested movies and television shows.